I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the no half-step in hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadespuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the Renegades of Puck. Then you can click on that merchandise tab. That's exactly where you're going to find the classic logo t-shirt, the Pride logo t-shirt, and at least 5 other versions of our Renegades of Puck t-shirts. Don't worry, we have all the gimmicks you've come to love from the Renegades of Puck: socks, throw pillows, wall art. You can outfit your entire body or your entire home for the Christmas season with Renegades of Puck merchandise. We sure do appreciate that. We say stick taps, love, and respect. We also say we've sold out, so you can buy in. Social media, critical importance to this operation here. Please give us a like, give us a subscription, give us a follow, leave a comment, share a link. Whatever you can do to help us out. Doesn't cost you anything and barely takes a second to do. You can follow us on social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can also catch the video podcast on YouTube, the audio podcast on numerous platforms: Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, just a couple of different examples. And you can also find us on our live stream channel on Twitch. Please, we have a lot of different endeavors and operations all going on at the same time, and you can find us virtually everywhere. Help us out, please. You can also become a partner of the show by going to Venmo. You can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen, or you can just search Renegades of Puck. Thanks to generous renegades like you, we've been able to upgrade significant amounts of equipment here in the bunker over the last year. We look to continue upgrading. We also have some ambitious plans for the upcoming year. So please help us out if you can. Even $1 goes a long way to helping an independent operation like the Renegades of Puck. Now, it's time for me to deliver the no half-step in hockey coverage, so let's get to the goods. It's operation number 685 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 685. This moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division. They've played 25 games on the season. They have a record of 12, 11, and 2, 26 points. Has them 2 points behind 4th place Minnesota, also 2 points behind 3rd place Colorado, but then 11 points behind the 2nd place Dallas Stars and 11 points behind the 1st place Winnipeg Jets. Preds are 2 points clear of their next opponent, the St. Louis Blues, who sit in 6th place. Arizona Coyotes are 6 points behind Nashville in 7th place, and the Chicago Blackhawks are in 8th and last place in the Central Division. They're 8 points behind the Nashville Predators at this moment in time. The Nashville Predators have a road record of 5-7. The St. Louis Blues have a home record of 5-7, and that's exactly where the next game will take place for the Nashville Predators, is in St. Louis. Overall, the Blues have a record of 12-15-0. They played 2 more games than the Preds on the season. They have 2 less points than the Predators. When it comes to the goals for, goals against categories, some of these numbers can be quite staggering, and I mean they are not good. The Nashville Predators have only scored 67 goals on the season. They've given up 78. They have a goal differential of -11, while the St. Louis Blues have scored 82, but they have given up 105 goals. They are the only team even close to 100 in the Central Division. They are -23 in their goal differential. For the Preds, once they wrap up this one-game road trip in St. Louis, they'll come back home in less than 24 hours later. They'll face the Edmonton Oilers at Bridgestone Arena. Thursday, they're out on the road to take on the Winnipeg Jets. Saturday in Colorado to take on the Avalanche, and then back home for another one-game homestand, 12-19 versus the Edmonton Oilers, back on the road on the 21st at the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, this isn't the first time the Preds have met the St. Louis Blues this season. They met back on October the 27th. The Preds secured a 6-2 victory over St. Louis. The captain, Roman Yossi, was a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Sanford, McCarron, Jeannot, all with a goal in that game. Not exactly your high rollers when it comes to the offensive side of things. Again, Sanford, McCarron, Jeannot, all chipping in with goals in that game. Grice took the loss for St. Louis, 36 out of 41. Saros got the victory for Nashville, 33 out of 35. These two Central Division rivals will meet 2 more times this season. January the 19th, the Preds will go into St. Louis for the 2nd and final time. And on April the 1st, the Nashville Predators will welcome St. Louis into Bridgestone Arena. Now, for the St. Louis Blues, taking a look at their last 5 games, and these scores, the numbers, really high. A lot of crooked numbers, as they like to say, on the box score. 12-1, we go back. 6-4 loss versus Carolina. On 12-3, a 6-2 loss at the Pittsburgh Penguins. On December the 5th, a 6-4 loss at the New York Rangers. St. Louis was well ahead in that game and blew that lead in the 3rd period. On the December the 6th, it was a 7-4 win at the New York Islanders, and most recently on December the 8th, a 5-2 loss versus the Winnipeg Jets. Now, we mentioned the Nashville Predators are in the first of back-to-back games. We'll have to come back home and play another game immediately against the Edmonton Oilers. Well, the same situation is playing out for the St. Louis Blues, because on Sunday afternoon, they will face off against the Colorado Avalanche at home, and then we'll face off against the Nashville Predators on Monday night at home. Injuries becoming an issue for this Nashville Predators team now, especially for one particular grouping, and that's the defense corps. McDonough out another 1 to 3 weeks. Carrier and Luzon left the game earlier today. We have no update on how long either of them are going to be out of the lineup. Borowiecki is on injured reserve, so for the Nashville Predators, the defense corps is now taking a massive hit, and they're going to have to rely on more than call-ups if Carrier and Luzon are going to be out for any length of time, and the Luzon injury against Ottawa did not look very good. I'll wait for official word before I go ahead and say anything about it, but it did not look good the way he exited the ice and went immediately to the locker room. So injuries now a problem for the Nashville Predators. They'd remained relatively healthy for the first 20-plus games of the season, but now starting to see some issues in the last couple of games. Taking a look at the NHL ranks between these two teams and the numbers, the Nashville Predators are 29th in the league for goals for, 2.60 per game, only 67 on the season. When it comes to goals for the St. Louis Blues are 23rd in the NHL. They're generating 3 goals per game. Goals against the Preds are 15th in the NHL, 3.08 against per game, 3.89 against the St. Louis Blues is 29th, right near the bottom of the league. Shots for, the Preds are 21st in the NHL. Shots for on the other side of the ledger, St. Louis Blues are 26th in the NHL. Shots against St. Louis is 21st. The Nashville Predators are 25th. They're giving up 33.1 shots against per game. On the power play, abysmal by the Nashville Predators. 28th rated in the NHL, 16.7% conversion rate. It's simply not good enough. We may have seen some signs of it improving at one point, but frankly, being right there at the bottom of the league, it's not going to be good enough. Now, the St. Louis Blues are the 16th best power play in the NHL, converting at 22.2%, or 16 out of 72 on the season. Penalty kill, the Preds are giving up 20 power play goals against. Their 18th rated in the NHL. The St. Louis Blues have the worst rated penalty kill in the entirety of the NHL, coming in at 32nd. They've given up 21 power play goals against. They are only killing off 63.8% of the times that they are shorthanded. Now, every team in the NHL has high-skilled individuals, so let's talk about the individual stats leaders for both of these teams. On the St. Louis side of things, Thomas leads the Blues in scoring, 6 goals, 18 assists for 24 points. Kyrou, 10 and 12 for 22. Buchnevich, 9 and 11 for 20. Tarasenko, 7 goals and 13 assists for 20 points. And Shen is at 6 goals and 14 assists for 20 points. Not knowing who the St. Louis Blues are going to deploy against Colorado on Sunday afternoon, I'll give you the numbers and the stats for both of the goaltenders. Neither are very impressive. Binnington, 8-11-0 and 8.89 save percentage, 3.42 goals against average. Greiss, who started against the Predators and took the loss earlier in the season, October the 27th, has a record of 3-4-0 overall, 8.99 save percentage, 3.69 goals against average. Taking a look at the Nashville Predators side of statistics, and it's really not looking all that good. Philip Forsberg's not having a bad season, but he's certainly nowhere near the pace that he was on last year. 8 goals and 15 assists for 23 points. Matt Duchene, 6 goals and 15 assists for 21 points. Only 6 games for Matt Duchene now through 25 games. That's really not very good. Roman Josi, 6 and 15 for 21. Mikhail Granlund, 4 and 14 for 18. Ryan Johansson, 7 and 8 for 15. And again, with the back-to-back coming up, no idea how John Hyde's going to deploy his netminders. Get the feeling Lankinen, if I had to pick, would be starting in St. Louis. UC Saros getting a start back home against Edmonton. So let's go with Lankinen's numbers. First 3-3-0, 9.34 save percentage, 2.27 goals against average. UC Saros is now 9-8-2 and a 9.06 save percentage, 3.05 goals against average. Nashville Predators have a back-to-back coming up. They've got an injured D-core, and they have an underperforming offense. They're going to have to do an awful lot of work if they're going to want to pick up points in St. Louis, then back home against Edmonton. But first, we've got to go back and find out everything that happened Saturday afternoon between the Nashville Predators and the Ottawa Senators. It's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and that's coming up next. Rebirth Sports, check out their work, rebirthsports.com, or find them on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Very easy to find them, and they're very interactive, very good people, and I certainly love having a partnership with that crew. You see me wearing the Renegades of Puck home jersey right here in the bunker. You see me wearing the road jersey, the third jersey. Just last night, skating with the Mighty Drunks here in Middle Tennessee in the Middle C Division. Got a chance to pull on the red, white, and blue Rebirth Sports Mighty Drunks jersey. good-looking threads out there at the rink. Got asked multiple times, where did that jersey come from? And I had to tell them, of course, because I love having the conversation. Came from Rebirth Sports. Sure to appreciate them. They take visions, make them reality, and they are certainly not jersey makers. They are hockey tailors. So check out their work, rebirthsports.com. We go all the way back to 12/10 of the year 2022 when the Nashville Predators are welcoming in the Ottawa Senators. John Hines deploys his lines in a jumble like this. Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne are back together. Niederreiter, Johansson, and Sissons. Trennan, Parson, and Janot, a new line combination. Smith, Glass, and Jankowski. Your defensive pairings to start the game. Yossi and Gross. Ekholm and Carrier, Luzon, and Fabro. UC Saros gets the starting net. We're 58 seconds into the first period, and Talbot comes up with a save on Forsberg. First shot on goal of the game for either team. 149 in the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Batherson. The rebound hits the post. 309. Saros a save on Sanderson from the low circle. The Nashville Predators have 2 shots on goal in 10 minutes of the first period. The Sens are competing incredibly hard at Bridgestone Arena. 10:39. Pinto's off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. Preds with their first opportunity of the game on the power play. Talbot as a scramble and a scrum and a numerous opportunities at jam, and he's able to survive. Talbot not controlling rebounds very well early in this game. 2 shots on goal for the Preds. Strong zone time possession, unable to break through. 15:05 at the first. That comes off to the box. 2 minutes for interference. Saros comes up with a save on Chabot. Saros then comes up with a save on Kachuk's backhand, plus the rebound on the doorstep. Kachuk had a glorious scoring opportunity right here, and then Saros comes up with another save on Chabot before the end of the power play. We go to 18:03 of the first period. Talbot comes up with a save on Forsberg. Another scramble, and Talbot's really shaky in his opportunities to control the puck and control rebounds in this first period. We hit the end of the first period with Ottawa out shooting Nashville 14-8. Second period, clean sheet. Takes a while before the action picks up. 5:03 into the second. Watson's off the box. 2 minutes for holding Forsberg's stick. Talbot comes up with a save on Parson in 2 times at close range. And then Gross has a follow-up strong save by Talbot right there. 8:43. The second. Saros comes up with a save on Stutzel. 9 minutes in. Luzon versus Watson. Yes, that Watson that used to play here in Nashville. Luzon was crushed Kachuk along the wall, and that's what led to Watson challenging him to a fight. 9:34 of the second period. Forsberg off the box, 2 minutes for interference. Talbot save on Yossi, plus Smith's rebound opportunity on the shorthanded rush. A strong PK overall by the Predators. It was very quiet out there for those 2 minutes, other than the Preds' really good shorthanded scoring rush. 13:49 of the second period. Batherson's off the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking Talbot in the D. Prevent Granlund from tucking the puck in at the post. It looked like he had the hole for just a moment, but it's taken away from it. 16:57. Trennan finally breaks through in this game with the second goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead over the Ottawa Senators, who was a wrist shot from the circle. After taking the puck after half wall, he skates it into the slot, and just an absolute sick wrist shot by Trennan gives the Preds a 1-0 lead. But in 19:32 of the second period, Nashville is going to pick up a penalty, a bench minor. Too many men on the ice. We've seen entirely too much of this as of late. Giroux's going to tie the game up at 1 apiece with his 12th goal of the season. It happened with Luzon down and out of the play. Looked like a wrist injury on what could have been a potential boarding call. Could have even been a major boarding call, especially since it led to an injury. Luzon immediately vacates the zone, makes his way to the bench, and heads to the locker room. But while he's down and out of the play, that is when the Ottawa Senators go ahead and score their goal. Giroux gets his 12th. The jam, it's just too much in this situation. 1-1 hockey game at the end of the second period. Ottawa out shooting Nashville 25-20. We come into the third period with bad news for the Nashville Predators. Luzon has not returned, and now Alex Carrier has also not returned. 4 defensemen remain for the Nashville Predators for the final 20, possibly more, minutes of this game. 2:38 into the third period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Sanderson off of the rush. 3:13. Saros comes up with a save on Stützle. 3:55 of the third period. DeBrincat gets his 7th goal of the season, giving Ottawa a 2-1 lead. It was Fabro redirecting the pass across the crease through the 5-hole, right off his stick blade, right through the pads of UC Saros and into the back of the net. DeBrincat was the last Sen to touch the puck, so he's awarded the goal. 7th of the season. Ottawa leads 2-1, 6:45 in the third period. Talbot comes with a save on Sissons from the slot area. 7:15 DeBrincat off the box, 2 minutes for roughing. The Nashville Predators about to have a great opportunity on the power play, but Philip Forsberg eliminates that with a 2-minute boarding penalty, creating a 4-on-4 situation. It absolutely was a boarding penalty. That's when Batherson scores, and 7th goal of the season, giving Ottawa a 3-1 lead. It was a chip over the shoulder off of the rush, and suddenly the Nashville Predators find themselves down by 2 goals on home ice. Nino Niederreiter, though, not giving putting up the fight yet at 10:15 in the third period. His 10th goal of the season makes it 3-2 in favor of the Ottawa Senators. It was a wrist shot through the elbow from the face-off dot off of the rush. Nino Niederreiter's now 10th goal of the season. 15:21 of the third period. Matt Duchene's off the box. 4 minutes for high sticking. It was reviewed, but then it was also confirmed. DeBrincat hits the post with a wide open net, and then 1939 Talbot with the extra attacker against comes up with a save on Yossi, gives up no rebound. The one time the Predators needed a rebound worse than anything, and this is the time Talbot goes ahead and finds his game and controls it. That was the end of the game right there. The Nashville Predators fall to the Ottawa Senators on home ice, 3-2. Now, the Ottawa Senators are an 8th place team in their division over in the Eastern Conference. They play hard. It's the NHL. Every team in the NHL has plenty of good hockey players. You don't make it to the NHL unless you are a good hockey player. The coaching staff, the system, the structure, what they have put together is a team that is difficult to play against night in and night out. The Senators team had just beaten the New York Rangers very recently, and now they beat the Nashville Predators. The Preds offense absolutely deficient in this game, and it let them down yet again. Stick taps to the Ottawa Senators. They came to Nashville, and they won a game when they are a last-place team. That's the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got analysis coming up, and we've got the Renegades Puck also in the trenches, and that's coming up next. Strong Style Fitness is a great partner here of the Renegades of Puck, and we love our partners. Strong Style Fitness can be found online, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is their preferred method of communication when it comes to social media. StrongStyleFit.com is where you can find the website. 150 workouts by a certified personal trainer, completely free to each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. Just go to YouTube and search Strong Style Fit, and you'll be able to find those, whether it's your first step off the couch, your first workout, or you've been at it for years. Tracy has a workout that is designed and dedicated to each and every one of you out there. She just wants to get you moving and get you motivated and keep you healthy. She has provided all of these workouts on her YouTube channel completely for free. So Renegades of Puck, in a world that is becoming increasingly more expensive every day, take advantage of an opportunity to have the Renegades of Puck personal trainer at Strong Style Fitness. Great partner here of the show. UC Saros was 30 of 33 in this game. He could have been better, but he also could have been a lot worse. The Fabro deflection is really the difference in this game. Yes, it was the second goal against, not the game winner against, but still, it made the difference in this game. That goal does not end up being deflected in by Fabro. We have a 2-2 game possibly going towards an overtime, and at least the Predators getting a point. But UC Saros, I felt that he made some quality saves in this game, and he was just under siege at times and managed to maintain for the Nashville Predators. He could have been better. Could have been worse. It's a neutral game for UC Saros. Now here is the real storyline of the game. It has nothing to do with the results, but affects the team moving forward. Luzon and Carrier, no update post-game from the head coach, John Hines. And this is bad news for the Nashville Predators. They already had one call-up in the defensive rotation for McDonough. Now it looks like they're going to have to make multiple call-ups, and this may be a moment where David Poile has to go out and make some sort of move just to slow down the problem. We have no idea how long that the players are going to be out of the lineup, but we know Borowiecki is already on injured reserve. McDonough at least 1 to 3 weeks. Now Carrier and Luzon, that's 4 defensemen going out of the lineup. The Nashville Predators are going to have to do something about that and do something about it quick. They also have back-to-back games coming up here Monday and Tuesday. The schedule never slows down. With Luzon and Carrier being out, not returning for the third period, that meant somebody had to step up, and that somebody was the captain, Roman Yossi. 31-01 in time on ice, 8 shots on goal in this game. Over 30 minutes for a defenseman in the NHL is otherworldly unless it is a multiple overtime playoff game. 31-01 stepped up, and you got to give stick taps to the other defensemen as well. Ekholm 24-41, Fabro 21-08, and Gross 22-24. No one expected Gross to be coming in here and playing that many minutes. And just to give you the minutes for Carrier, 7:20 in total, and Luzon 8:48 in total. We talked about the hit on Luzon that caused him to leave. It looked like it possibly was a wrist injury. The hit on Carrier, when he left the game a little bit after the hit, was certainly something that rocked him. Not sure if the spotters or the trainers or something spotted something a little bit later, but he left the game and did not play very much as well after that. Trenton Niederreiter score a goal in this. Good to see your role players. Niederreiter, top 6 forward, leading the team in goals. So it's good to see him continue scoring. Also good to see your role player in Trenton putting a puck in the net, only his second of the season. A really sweet goal. Nashville Predators got to find more offense than that, though. They can't be relying on Nino Niederreiter, and they can't be relying on just role players. The top guys need to be top guys. It's pretty simple when it comes down to it. The Preds are not going to have a winning record for much longer if the top guys don't start breaking through and scoring. And another day, another set of lines. No chemistry, no scoring. What's it going to take for this Nashville Predators team to break through? Their offense is abysmal. Their power play is abysmal. John Hines continues shaking up the lines and is not getting the chemistry, is not getting the jam, is not getting what he had going so well for him last year. Multiple Nashville Predators broke offensive scoring records, all-time franchise records. Yes, 20-plus years is all it is. It still was a long time between Nashville Predator getting to 80 points and getting back to 80 points. So Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene all breaking offensive records last year. None of those players are coming anywhere near the level of performance that they were on last year. The captain, Roman Josi, at 21 points is very respectable and very reasonable, but Forsberg and Duchene at 23 and 21 at this time of the season, frankly, it's not good enough, especially when it comes to Duchene only having 6 goals on the season. So John Hines needs to figure out some line combinations and stick with them for a couple of games, giving them the opportunity to grow some chemistry and maybe finally start turning this offense around. It's just not working. No matter what he throws out there, no matter what the Preds try to do, the combinations are frankly not working. Let's talk to Brian Baston from ontheforecheck.com. He's stepping up tonight, stepping in at the first analyst spot. He's going to do more than one big stat tonight. He's going to also bring you some thoughts on the game that happened against the Ottawa Senators. From ontheforecheck.com, you can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Once again, the Nashville Predators came back from their 5-day break before the Tampa game, and once again came out sloppy, uneven, and unable to get anything started early on in the game, and leading to a 3-2 loss which I will give them a little bit credit. They had some adversity to go through tonight. However, this was the Ottawa Senators. This is another team that Nashville should be able to beat, sitting a good amount of ways below them in the standings in the NHL. But Nashville has proven that they are just an inconsistent team that, unfortunately, we haven't seen any evidence so far this season. This is a team that can pull themselves out of a slump or pull themselves out of anything other than basically mediocrity. But let's take a look about what exactly I think happened and what were some of the keys to this game and why there may be some issues in the future. I would be remiss if I didn't start out with the power play. Once again, the Nashville Predators were unable to score on the power play, including a 6-on-5 empty net attempt at the end of the game, but also losing a 5-on-4 attempt after going down 3-2 when Philip Forsberg was called for a penalty, which again was extremely unfortunate that they were able to have very little time with the man advantage. And then, of course, the 4-on-4 is where the goal was scored by the Ottawa Senators. But we will come back to special teams because next I want to talk about maybe not just the special teams, but the offense in general. And this is a question that I'm finding myself asking this question more and more. I talk about a lot about the style of this team, the identity, as John Hines would put it, is that this team is a team that is focused on forechecking, creating turnovers, and using that heavy forecheck to really play a physical game, tire out the other team, and create opportunities. But here's a question I find myself asking myself. What is this offense set up to do? Now, we've seen a lot of changes since the Laviolette area. Obviously, we see a lot more of a player playing below the red line, trying to set up his teammates from the bumper position. But honestly, I don't know what the purpose of this offense is once it gets set up in the zone. And getting set up in the zone has also been a major problem for this team this season. I would think within any offense that, yes, you may have your things that you want to tailor it to, a style that you want to adhere to. But the other thing you want to do with an offense is to tailor your offense to get your star players into scoring position. Now, for example, take a look at Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg has been doing extremely well in every area except for scoring goals, much like the rest of the team. He's shooting well above average on his shot quality, which means he's due for it. It just hasn't happened yet. But one thing about Philip Forsberg is if you look at the power play, he's stuck sitting outside the left circle, usually waiting for a one-timer or hoping to set up somebody else up at the net. And again, I don't know that that's the best use of the talent that Philip Forsberg has. You see Matt Duchene on that very same power play sitting in the bumper position only, and then you have Roman Josi and Mikael Granlund or somebody else out there on the other perimeter slot, and they're just passing back and forth. So the power play, I honestly don't know what the offensive plan is for that. And they brag a lot about how, Ryan Johansson and players like that have a really good face-off percentage, but let's be real, even if they do win the face-off in the offensive zone on the power play, what exactly are they doing? Because I haven't seen very much of any kind of set play for this power play. In fact, it seems like a lot of their goals come from the usual take a one-timer from the blue line and hope that it tips its way in, which isn't a sustainable way to score goals. But let me go back to the point of the 5-on-5 offense. I don't see anything that is working to try and free up players like Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene, Ryan Johansson, these types of guys. I see a lot of this that, we see a lot more of get pucks to the net, try to create deflections, create traffic, but they haven't been creating much traffic because there's not a lot of movement. So really it just brings up this one final question. The natural progression to all of this is, what are the special teams, what are the offense doing? Because obviously right now, especially on special teams, whatever it is they were doing that gave them some success last season, it's not happening now. The power play has been bad all season. The penalty kill was in the top 10 early on, just as recently as 2-3 weeks ago. And now they've slipped all the way down to 17th. And as we saw, they haven't been great on 3-on-3 overtime. And then 4-on-4, they obviously weren't coached up ready because we're seeing some too many men penalties once again. And that 4-on-4, all four players had come down to try to score, and with nobody left out, and there was an easy goal that proved to be the game-winning goal. So I am at a loss. I don't necessarily think that John Himes has lost this locker room, but it's obvious that he has not been able to coach these players up to the potential that we saw last season, even though, again, on paper, this team should be better than what they were last season. Now, yes, a fair amount of blame does go on to the players. Nobody has really stood out to me. Even UC Saros is having a rather pedestrian up and down season. But I think that if I'm general manager David Poyle, I'm thinking about making some changes. Maybe not all the way to the top, but maybe having a long, hard conversation with John Himes about who's running the power play, how they're going to approach that in the future, because I can't imagine that anybody is happy with this and happy with the fact that they have yet to improve on this or change what they're doing at all. In other news, though, if the loss wasn't bad enough, we also saw injuries to Alexandre Carrier and Jeremy Lauzon, both defensemen. Both did not return to the game after the second intermission. And so Nashville, to their credit, played about, I'd say 35 minutes or 30 minutes of this game without those two defenders. So just four guys. And we saw that their time on ice was something ridiculous for those top four guys. And Nashville managed to kind of keep it, keep up with it, and they didn't fall behind too much. They managed to keep in the game, and it was close all the way to the end. So credit where credit is due. But this is now officially a problem for the Nashville Predators. Mark Borowiecki and Ryan McDonough have both been on the IR. I don't imagine that Mark Borowiecki will be out too much longer with after being hit in the face. Excuse me. But there's no timetable on McDonough's injury, rather, and then we have no idea about Carrier and Lauzon. Coach Himes didn't say anything about them after the game, so we'll find out. But we did find out that two of Milwaukee's defenders were pulled from the active roster and are most likely heading to Nashville as we speak right now, and that is Roland McCown, who has 3 points in 10 NHL games with Carolina, and Kevin Gravel, 1 goal, 13 points, 109 games, with Los Angeles, Edmonton, and Toronto. So we saw a lot of these guys in development camp early on into the season, but here's their chance. Who knows if both Carrier and Lauzon will be unavailable to go on Monday against the St. Louis Blues, but Nashville now has had to pull some extra defenders, and now Milwaukee, they're thin, and they're going to have to sign 1 or 2 players to an ATO contract just to fill up their spots. So Nashville's a little bit in trouble when it comes to defensemen. One more injury could seriously derail anything that might be resembling success for the rest of this season, at least the rest of this month. And so things got bad, and then they got worse today. And unfortunately, Nashville does not have any easier of a job coming up. They still have 4 more games in the next 7 days, and none of those opponents are slouches themselves. They have to go to St. Louis on Monday, then turn right around and have a back-to-back at home against Edmonton on Tuesday, then to Winnipeg, and then back to Colorado to play them again. And this is all in the next 7 days. So this is not looking great for the Nashville Predators. The goaltending has been, as I said, pedestrian. The offense has been non-existent, and the defense has been doing its best, but not good enough. So we're going to find out a lot about this team before Christmas. And for some of you, if this team everything falls off the wagon, then some of you might get some of those Christmas presents that you've been asking about very loudly on Twitter. And that's going to be my recap for the night. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks so much, Brian. Sure to appreciate everything you do for the Renegades of Puck. Brian Baston jumping in the trenches from ontheforecheck.com. Normally running the Renegade Analytics desk with the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. But he's added to that role tonight, stepping up to analyst 1 spot and handling that business. Great job, Brian. Sure to appreciate you. Going to move on and talk about the Spartans. Been working over there at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena in Nolensville all weekend long. Nashville Spartans through 2 days of hockey, a record of 4-0. They have outscored the Elmira Junior Enforcers 34-11 in total goals. Nico Schoner is absolutely on fire, an otherworldly performance through 2 games this weekend. 20-8 was the goal differential in the series on Saturday. Premier Division 2-0, Elite Division 2-0. Unfortunately, Sunday morning's Elite game has been canceled due to a flu outbreak among the Elmira Enforcers locker room. The Premier game is still scheduled to go on right around 1 p.m. down in Nolensville. If you have an opportunity, come on out and check the team. But here's a little sampling of what happened on Friday night over there at the Gary Force Acura Ice Arena in Nolensville. Nashville Spartans versus Elmira Junior Enforcers. I take you to me on the call.
That's going to give the Spartans an opportunity with Savaras carrying through the neutral zone with speed and an opportunity to break out. Handoff to Hendrick. Hendrick takes the puck in and fires it into the net. Incredible play by the Spartans. Tie game 1-1. And for the first time tonight, you get to shout. Zamborski goes down low, puts the backhander on the net, and the Spartans get the redirect. Spartans take the lead 2-1, and it's time for the people in attendance to shout. Schoner now through the neutral zone. He's going to look to split the D. Instead goes around the outside of the D, shoots the puck, and Chris Free puts the puck in the net off for an incredible feed by Nico Schoner. Nico Schoner goes into the zone, wheels around the outside of the defense, and sets up Chris Free in the low slot. And it's time to shout. 25 seconds to go. Elmira all the way back in their defensive zone, having some trouble getting the puck down the ice. A.J. Bennett goes, recovers, retrieves, wheels, goes along the wall, and looks to play the puck out of the zone. Unable to do so. Extra attacker certainly helping when it comes to Elmira right here. Dawson Hendrick helping. That's going to be a save by Duzak. You heard the pads right there. Savaras corrals the puck. He's got it out across the red line, goes to fire it at the net. It won't make a difference that it didn't make it all the way down. The Spartans come from behind, secure the victory, 3-2. Sweeping the day, 10-1 earlier in Elite action, 3-2 here in Premier action. The two teams will now line up for the handshake.
Spartans bringing the jam and putting up some big-time performances this weekend. Nico Schoner, the captain, A.J. Bennett, absolutely doing a great job leading the squad as we head towards the Christmas break for the Nashville Spartans and the USPHL. I've now called 22 hockey games for the Nashville Spartans this season. What an honor, what a privilege. It sure is great to be just a small part of such a fascinating and great and amazing organization. We celebrated Christmas night. We had a cookout over there, and we're doing all kinds of cool things. Come on down and see us over there in Nolensville. Check out a game. You can find the Spartans anywhere. Just search them out. You can find them, and it's easy to come on down. Saw my good friend Seth Lake out there at the game last night. It was great to see a former Mighty Drunk and a hockey player from the Middle Tennessee area coming on out and checking out the newest hockey operation, the newest hockey team, and just another part of the hockey landscape here in Middle Tennessee. Hey, you know we're going to Vegas. We've talked about it. PD in Paradise with the Renegades of Puck. Next summer, it's July. We filmed a whole commercial. We did a vignette. We did skits. We did everything. And here it is right here. Watch it. Check it out. It's here. Oh, and come to Mexico with us.
Cold. I can't believe this. I can't. Wait a second. I got it. I know how to get out of the cold. I need to call Pete. I need to call Ships and Trips Travels. Renegades, we have a plan to make. Let's go.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in Paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. Can't wait to see each and every one of you for PD in Paradise, the Renegades of Puck, headed off to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. It's going to be a blast. 5 days, all inclusive. Go ahead and check out Ships and Trips Travel, the website. You already saw the commercial. You heard the promo, all of that. Go ahead and get yourself registered, signed up, and come hang out. Check in those flip-flops and come on out and see us on the beach down in Mexico. It's going to be a blast. Now, let's close this thing out because we got to turn this thing around quickly. The Preds have a game Monday. They have a game Tuesday. That means 2 more shows for the Renegades of Puck. We'll be in the trenches. Don't worry about it. I called 2 games tonight, came home, recorded a podcast. No problem. That's how we do it. That's called no half-stepping, and we are the essence of no half-stepping here in the bunker in the trenches. So for the Nashville Predators, that's a disappointing loss to a last-place team against the Ottawa Senators. Frankly, it's something I should probably be a lot more upset about, but the Ottawa Senators are a fairly surprising upstart team. They're a determined bunch of underdogs, and they don't quit, and they don't give up, and they play really hard. And if they can keep that young core together with that coaching staff for the next couple of seasons, they're going to develop into a threat over in the Eastern Conference. They're in last place right now, and it's obvious to see that they have deficiencies, but the Nashville Predators offense is so bad that they can't overcome anything right now, and they had 1 own goal in this game by Fabro, and it was just something they could not overcome. Listen, it's going to be hard to expect better results against the St. Louis Blues, against the Edmonton Oilers, against the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are in first place with 37 points. The Edmonton Oilers, highly effective offense and a playoff team, and also the St. Louis Blues. They may be struggling right now, but they've scored 15 more goals on the season than the Nashville Predators at 82, while the Preds have only scored 67. All right, so the Preds got a big hill to climb over the next couple of days. If they're not careful, they're going to find themselves below 500 by the end of Tuesday night, going into that first place matchup against the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. That's going to do it for the show right here. Man, having a blast talking pucks with each and every one of you. My 3rd show of the day, called 2 Games Now, did a podcast, episode number 685. It's Operation 685. It's in the books. We're all done from the bunker right here. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier for Brian Baston and all of the other Renegades of Puck, wherever they may be out there in the trenches. Stick taps, love, respect.